going to go over a couple of the problems that were on the worksheet that I assigned today. And so this is the moles converting between units. So we went over the notes for this on Monday. And in the notes, like if you go back and you watch the video or look at the PowerPoint, you'll be able to answer these two questions, okay? Here are some of the conversion factors that we talked about today. And so then in the instructions, it says using dimensional analysis, solve the following problems. So the reason why I'm going over this with you is because there's a specific way that I want you to do these problems, and it's using the factor label method or dimensional analysis. Basically, you're using the units to tell you how to set up the problem, and then you'll do your multiplication and division. So let's start with number one. We're going to work through number one. It says, calculate the amount of moles found at 1.20 times 10 to the 24th atoms. Okay, you need to ask yourself, okay, what's my known? What do I know about this problem? Well, they tell you that you have 1.20 times 10 to the 24th atoms. And they want to know how many moles would that be? How much of a mole is that? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this number over 1. Because I just want it to look like a fraction, okay? So I've got my 1.20 times 10 to the 24th atoms over 1. And I'm going to multiply that by a conversion factor because I don't want my unit to be atoms anymore. I want it to be moles. That's the unit I'm trying to get to, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to set up our units first, and then we're going to plug in the numbers. So I know here I need a conversion factor. I've got to get rid of atoms. So in order to do that, that word atoms has to be on the bottom in the denominator. And then on the top, I want it to be converted to moles. So that's the unit I'm looking for, right? So then you're just going to go up and look at your different conversion factors, and you pick the one that has the word mole in it and word atoms, okay? So you look up there, all of these have mole, right? And then you just got to look for, oh, well, here's atoms. So this must be the conversion factor that I want, okay? So it's always going to be 1 mole, so I'm going to put a 1 right there. And then I'm going to plug in this number right next to the word atoms. So that's how many atoms are always in a mole. So then I'm just going to do my math. I'm going to multiply everything across the top. So 1.20 times 10 to the 24th times 1 divided by, you multiply this. And then I'm just going to plug it into my calculator. Okay, and when you do this, let me encourage you to use parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to put in my parentheses and I'm going to type in 1.20, and that little E key tells the calculator times 10 to the 24th divided by parentheses 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So my final answer is about 1.99. And what's my unit? Well, my atoms cancels out, so I'm left with moles. It's about 2 moles. Okay, so that's how you're going to do number 1. That's called dimensional analysis or the factor label method.